I was halfway through reheating leftover wings when my phone buzzed on the counter. It was a text from Chelsea. Just her name flashing on my screen made my stomach drop. "I'm pregnant. Don't worry. I don't need or want you involved." No hi. No explanation. 8 months of silence, and this was her opening line? I stared at it for a solid minute. Not shocked, just pissed. Not even a conversation. Like she was filling out a damn form and I was the last checkbox. I typed a reply. Got it. Simple. Clean. Done. But not for her. 10 seconds later, she blew up my phone with a wall of rage. "You're heartless. I knew you'd react like this. You never cared. All you ever did was give up when things got hard." I set my phone down and walked to the hallway closet. Behind the vacuum and a box of old chargers was a small locked file cabinet. I popped it open, reached into the middle drawer, and pulled out a white envelope, still sealed the way I'd left it 2 years ago after the worst fight of our engagement. The lab report. Back then, she told me she miscarried. Claimed she lost the baby after I came home late from a work trip. I didn't believe it. Something in her eyes was off. Cold. Like now. So I paid for a private lab to analyze the tissue she'd claimed came from the pregnancy. I never told her. The results came back clear. No fetal tissue. It wasn't even human. It was animal, probably from the butcher shop 2 blocks from her place. I took a picture of the report, attached it to a message, and scrolled through my contacts until I saw his name. Marshall, Chelsea's dad. He always liked me more than he liked her. We'd gone fishing together, played poker at his brother's place. I figured if anyone needed to see the truth, it was him. I hit send. Quick note. Before listening, share which city or country you're watching from. I stood there with the envelope still in my hand, staring at my reflection in the microwave. I wasn't angry. I was done. Whatever game she was playing this time, I wasn't playing along. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. This time it was Marshall. "Be there in 20. I slid the report back into the envelope, tossed the wings in the trash, and sat down at the kitchen table to wait. 20 minutes flat, just like he said. Marshall's truck pulled up fast and hard into my driveway. Gravel kicked. Brakes squealed a little. He didn't even shut the engine off before jumping out. And there she was, behind him in the passenger seat, wearing oversized sunglasses and wiping at her face like she was fresh out of a soap opera scene. I opened the door before he could knock. "You want to explain this shit?" he barked, holding up his phone with the photo I'd sent. Chelsea stood a few steps behind him, arms crossed, face tight with fake sadness. No eye contact. "Yeah, come in," I said, stepping aside. They followed me into the living room. I didn't offer them seats. I pulled the envelope from the table, handed it to Marshall, and said, "Read every line before either of you open your mouth." He looked confused but unfolded the report. I watched his eyes scan the page, then slow down. His mouth moved as he read the fine print. When he got to the section about the tissue origin, he stopped cold. "What the hell is this?" he asked, his voice lower now. "It's a lab report," I said, "from the sample she gave me after claiming she had a miscarriage. The one that happened during our engagement." Chelsea shifted her weight and let out a fake sob. "I can't believe you kept that. I can't believe you gave me a piece of ground beef and called it our child," I snapped. Marshall turned to her, his hands shaking slightly. "You told me you lost the baby. You said he left you and it broke your heart so bad you miscarried." She dropped her sunglasses to her chest and started crying harder, but it didn't land. Not with me. Not with him either. I grabbed another sheet from the envelope, the timeline I'd put together, receipts and texts all lined up. "Here. This shows the date she told me about the miscarriage. Same day I got a Venmo charge from the butcher down the street." Marshall stared at it for a second too long, then looked at her. "Tell me this new baby ain't his," he said, voice almost a whisper now. She hesitated. I crossed my arms. "Go on, Chelsea. Say it." She swallowed, eyes darting around like she was hoping the room would open up and swallow her. "It's not his," she finally said, barely audible. "Louder," I said. "It's not his," she screamed, suddenly defensive. It's Dylan's. Okay? Happy now. Marshall blinked. Who the hell is Dylan? She sniffed. He manages that steakhouse over on 14th. He's married. But look, it was complicated. Shut your mouth, Marshall growled. Jesus Christ, Chelsea. I kept my arms crossed, watching her sink further into her own mess. All of it was unraveling now, fast. You tried to guilt me into raising this kid, I said. You really thought dragging me back into your trash fire would work just because I used to love you? She looked at me, mascara streaking down her cheeks. You did love me. You said we were forever. That was before the butcher shop pregnancy, I said. And the cheating. And whatever this stunt was supposed to be. Marshall turned red. Full-on neck and ears red. His fists clenched at his sides, shaking like he was holding back from flipping the whole table. You're a damn disgrace, he said, staring dead at her. You lied to me. You lied to him. You've embarrassed this family in ways I can't even begin to fix. Chelsea let out another sob and backed up toward the door. I didn't say anything else. I just stood there and watched her world collapse under the weight of her own lies. Marshall looked at me one last time. I don't even know what to say, son. I'm sorry. For everything. Then he turned and walked out, leaving the front door wide open behind him. Chelsea followed him in silence, still crying, but quieter now. I shut the door behind them. No words, just the lock clicking back into place. By the time I woke up the next morning, my phone was already vibrating off the nightstand. First thing I saw was a tag notification. Chelsea Franklin updated her status. I opened Facebook and there it was, an essay. Full-blown pity parade. I read the first few lines and felt my blood pressure spike. After everything I've been through, the lies, the abandonment, the trauma of losing a child, again. I never imagined he'd turn his back on me during the hardest time of my life. It went on for 8 damn paragraphs. All about how I refused to step up, how I walked away from my responsibilities, how I pressured her to handle it alone. No names, but I didn't need names. Everyone who knew us knew exactly who she meant. The comments started flooding in within minutes. What a coward. Deadbeat dads are the worst. You deserve better, Chelsea. Stay strong, mama. Then came the DMs. One girl from her old job called me garbage. Another posted on my wall with a screenshot of the post and the caption. So this is who y'all defend? Disgusting. I could have gone off right then. But I didn't. I just sat up in bed, grabbed my coffee, and waited. Didn't take long. About 10 minutes later, I saw a new comment pop up under her post. From Marshall. Short. Brutal. Final. You faked a miscarriage 2 years ago, and this baby isn't even his. It's Dylan's. Stop lying to make yourself feel better. You need help. Boom. Silence for a second. Then the internet exploded. Someone screenshot the whole thing before she could delete it. And yeah, she tried. But by then, it was already too late. It hit the local Facebook gossip groups like wildfire. Threads. Memes. The works. I checked my phone again around lunchtime and saw a message request from a woman named Tracy Mathers. I didn't know her, but her profile pic had her standing next to a guy in a chef's jacket, arm around her waist. Hey, I'm Dylan's wife. Is what Marshall posted true? I didn't respond right away. I scrolled her timeline, family photos, anniversary posts, baby shower from 2 years ago. Looked like they had a daughter. I messaged back. Yes, I have proof. Want it? She replied instantly. Yes, please. I sent it all, screenshot of Chelsea's confession at my house, the lab report, even the Venmo receipt. I told her I didn't want drama, but she deserved the truth. 15 minutes later, she made her own Facebook post. No crying. No sugarcoating. My husband, Dylan Mathers, has been cheating on me with a woman named Chelsea Franklin. She is currently pregnant with his child. I just found out today thanks to a kind stranger who didn't owe me anything. Chelsea and Dylan both knew he was married. They both lied. I will be filing for divorce immediately. And yes, I've already tagged his employer. Do with that what you will. Then she tagged the steakhouse where Dylan worked. Direct link. Bold letters. Comments poured in under that one too. Some people knew Dylan from the restaurant. Others from the neighborhood. Nobody was on their side. Within an hour, someone posted a Yelp review calling Dylan Chef Homewrecker. I'm not even kidding. Another tagged the restaurant's Facebook page, demanding they fire him. Chelsea's original post? Deleted. But it didn't matter. Screenshots were everywhere. Even her Instagram got flooded. Every recent post had comments calling her a liar, a manipulator, a homewrecker. She tried to post some vague apology after, but it just made things worse. She said something like, I made mistakes, but that doesn't mean I deserve to be attacked. Too late for that. Her story changed 5 times in a day and no one was buying it anymore. By that night, 3 people had already sent me TikToks using her rant as background audio with clown makeup filters. Chelsea had finally gone viral. Just not the way she hoped. Around 9 that night, I heard someone banging on my front door. Loud. Fast. Like they were trying to break it down with their fists. I checked the peephole. It was Dylan. Same guy from the profile pics. Same slicked back hair and dumb restaurant polo. He looked wrecked. Red eyes, jaw clenched, breathing hard like he'd run full speed from the parking lot. I opened the door halfway and kept my foot against it. You got a death wish or something? I said. He shoved his hand against the doorframe, trying to keep it from closing. You need to come outside. Right now. Say what you need to say or get off my porch. You ruined my F-king life, man, he snapped. My wife's divorcing me. My job's on the line. And Chelsea. She's blaming everything on me. Like this was all my fault. I let the door swing open. Wow. You slept with a woman who wasn't your wife and knocked her up? And I'm the problem. She said you were cool with it, he yelled. She said you two were still talking. That you backed off because you didn't want the baby. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. You believed that? He paused. Eyes dropped. I walked back into my apartment. Left the door open behind me. You want to see what else she lied about? He followed, muttering curses under his breath. I opened the same drawer from before, grabbed the envelope, and laid the lab report flat on the kitchen counter. He leaned over it. Read for 30 seconds. Then again, and again. She faked a miscarriage? He said, voice cracking. Used butcher meat, I said. Tried to guilt me into staying with her when I caught her cheating. He looked like he just got hit with a shovel. Leaned back, hands on his head, pacing in circles like the floor was collapsing under him. I left my wife for her, he whispered. I gave up everything. My kid, my house, my F-king life. I stayed silent. He dropped down onto the entryway rug, legs folded weird like he'd lost control of his own body, face in his hands. Then came the sobs, full body shaking, gasping for air, snot and spit everywhere. The kind of cry you only hear when someone finally realizes they destroyed everything for nothing. I stood there with my arms crossed, watching him come apart. Don't look at me for sympathy, I said. You knew she was unstable. You still climbed into bed with her and let her wreck your life. He looked up at me, face soaked. I thought she was real. I cut him off. Trustworthy? Special? I leaned down, grabbed the report, and slid it back into the envelope. She lies like it's breathing, man. You just weren't paying attention. He sat there a minute longer, then pushed himself up using the wall, wiping at his face with his shirt. He looked 10 years older than his photos, beaten down. You're lucky, he said, voice low. You got out. No, I said. I clawed my way out. There's a difference. He nodded like he understood. Maybe he did. Then he walked to the door, turned one last time. She's not okay, dude. Something's wrong in her head. Yeah, I said. Took you long enough. He left without another word. I closed the door behind him and locked it twice. The next day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail, but then it came in again. Then a third time. Fourth time, I picked up. Yeah. Are you proud of yourself? It was Marshall. His voice was cold, clipped, Nothing like before. What's this about? You humiliated my daughter. Publicly. You're out here sending her private messages and recordings to strangers. People are laughing at her. You think that's funny? I took a breath. I didn't post anything. She did. And I didn't lie. Everything I've said, everything that's out there is backed by receipts. I've got screenshots, lab reports, voice memos. Hell, you commented on her post. I didn't give you permission to turn this into a damn circus. He snapped. You want a lawsuit? Keep running your mouth. There it was. I let out a dry laugh. You want to take me to court for exposing your daughter's lies? Be my guest. I'll bring the entire envelope and a thumb drive. We'll play her confession on a speaker. He hung up. Not even 5 minutes later, Facebook lit up again. This time it wasn't Chelsea. It was her aunt. Her mom's sister, Sharon. One of those whine at noon types who thinks trauma is just another word for personality. She posted a long, dramatic rant on her profile. It's disgusting how certain men think it's okay to expose a vulnerable pregnant woman for likes and attention. Some things should be handled privately. Real men don't shame women online. Family matters stay in the family. Of course, people jumped in to defend her. Yes, Queen. So true. Protect our women. All that mess. But Marshall wasn't having it. Not even an hour later, he clapped back in the comments. This vulnerable pregnant woman tried to guilt an ex into raising another man's baby. She faked a miscarriage 2 years ago with meat from a grocery store. I've seen the proof. This isn't about shaming. This is about accountability. Boom. Again. Now his siblings jumped in. One cousin took Sharon's side, saying Chelsea was obviously mentally unwell and needed compassion, not condemnation. Another cousin came in hot. Mentally unwell or not, she nearly committed paternity fraud. That's not a mental health crisis. That's criminal. Next thing you know, someone dug up screenshots of Chelsea asking for donations from strangers on Instagram, claiming the father abandoned her and her unborn twins. Twins, plural. People started tagging each other. Wait, wasn't it just one baby? Is she lying again? She's still trying to grift people. Her whole family thread exploded. One uncle accused Sharon of enabling narcissism. Sharon fired back saying Marshall emotionally abused Chelsea for years. Then Chelsea's own grandmother posted a comment saying, I love my granddaughter, but this isn't how you fix your life. Total chaos. I sat on my couch and just watched the implosion unfold in real time. No popcorn needed, just a locked phone screen and a scroll thumb. By the end of the day, 3 family members had unfriended each other. Marshall changed his profile pic to an old fishing photo with me. Someone pointed it out in the comments and he just replied, better company than my own blood lately. Couldn't have said it better myself. It was around 11 a.m. on a Tuesday when I saw her waddle through the front doors of the warehouse. Belly out, hands cradling it like a prop. I was on break in the corner near the vending machines when one of the new guys came over, eyes wide. Hey man, there's some pregnant lady out front asking for you. I already knew who it was. I walked toward the lobby but detoured through the office to grab my manager. Lucas, I need you to come with me. Now. He followed, no questions. Good guy. Knew I didn't joke about stuff like this. We stepped into the front entrance and there she was. Chelsea, standing near the reception desk like she owned the place. Swollen feet in cheap sandals, sunglasses on top of her head, and a face full of whatever makeup was holding her breakdown together. Can we talk? She asked, voice soft, trembling like she was on the verge of some Oscar performance. I kept my voice flat. You're trespassing. Say what you need to say, then leave. She glanced at Lucas, then back at me. Can we talk alone? Nope. You lost that right. Her face twitched. Fine. She took a shaky breath. Dylan's gone. He's not answering my calls. He won't see me. He told me he wants nothing to do with the baby. I stayed silent. Lucas folded his arms next to me. I made a mistake, she said, stepping closer. But this baby didn't ask for any of this. He doesn't deserve to be born without a father. I raised an eyebrow. You think I care what Dylan does? Her voice cracked. You loved me once. I know you did. Please, I need help. I'm asking you to be the better man. Help raise him. I can't do this alone. Lucas glanced over at me like, what the hell is going on here? I pulled out my phone, opened the voice memo, and hit play. It was her voice, loud and clear. It's not his, she'd said that day in my living room. It's Dylan's. Okay? Happy now. She froze. Lucas raised his eyebrows and nodded slow. That was all I needed. I looked right at her. You admitted it. You lied to everyone. And now you're here trying to guilt me into cleaning up your mess again. It's not happening. Her hands went to her stomach like she was shielding herself. You're a monster, she hissed. You're really gonna stand there and let an innocent child suffer because you're too heartless to forgive me? Now people were gathering. 2 guys from shipping stood by the time clock, whispering. My supervisor peeked around the corner. I didn't lower my voice. You want someone to raise your kid? Try not blowing up your life sleeping with married men and blaming the fallout on your ex. Chelsea's face twisted into something I hadn't seen before. Rage and panic fighting for control. Her jaw clenched. Her eyes darted around like she finally realized how many people were watching. You think this makes you look strong? She shouted. It makes you look weak. You could have been part of something good, and instead you threw it away. Lucas stepped forward. Ma'am, I need you to leave the property now, or I'll have to call security. Chelsea's voice cracked again. He's turning everyone against me. My own father. My friends. They all hate me now because of him. You did that to yourself, I said. I just stopped covering for you. She screamed something, I don't even know what, then stormed out so fast she nearly tripped over her own feet. Lucas let out a long breath once the doors slammed shut. That your ex? Yeah. Damn, he muttered. You dodged a bullet and the gun. I turned and walked back to work without a word. By the next morning, she was fully unhinged. I woke up to 3 missed calls from my mom. A couple voicemails. I hit play on the first one. Hey, I don't know what's going on with that Chelsea girl, but she messaged me on Facebook at 2 in the morning. Said you were in trouble? Said she needed help? I didn't answer. I figured it was BS, but call me back. Then I saw the text from Kyle, an old friend from high school I hadn't talked to in years. Yo, why is Chelsea messaging me asking if I'll talk some sense into you? What kind of weird shit is this? She even reached out to Rachel, my high school ex, telling her I still had feelings and was pushing her away out of guilt. That was the moment I realized. She wasn't just spiraling. She was throwing whatever she could and hoping something stuck. Around lunchtime, I heard a knock at my door, slow and heavy. I checked the peephole. It was Marshall and 2 of his brothers, Ronnie and Greg. All 3 looked pissed off and ready to throw hands. I hit record on my phone, shoved it in my pocket, and opened the door just wide enough. Marshall didn't waste time. You need to fix this, he said. You've embarrassed my daughter enough. Now you're getting other people involved. She messaged my mom and half my friends last night, I said. I'm not the one still playing games. Ronnie stepped forward. You got her out here looking like trash on the internet, and you think you're just gonna walk away clean? Y'all are about 30 lies too late, I said. She made this mess. I'm not cleaning it up. Greg jabbed a finger at me. You better be careful. We know people. I pulled my phone out, screen still recording. And I know the cops. Want me to call them right now? Trespassing, threats, harassment. I'm sure they'd love to sort it out. They froze for a beat, then turned without another word and walked off. I saved the video and emailed it to myself, just in case. 3 days later, I got a call from my landlord. Said someone filed a complaint claiming I was hosting drug parties at my apartment. I laughed. He laughed. Said the report had come in anonymous, but the handwriting matched a note he'd seen before, left in the building's suggestion box. Same day, my boss called me into the office. You'll love this, he said, handing me a printout of an anonymous email accusing me of verbal abuse and emotional threats toward a pregnant woman. I read the whole thing. 0 details. No dates. No names. Just dramatic filler about me being unstable. Lucas leaned against the desk. So, you got any enemies I should know about? Only one, I said. We both knew who. Then came her next move. Chelsea popped up in some private moms group on Facebook. Claimed her abuser left her pregnant and homeless, that she was being stalked and bullied online for just trying to be a good mother. She posted a picture of a used crib and an empty fridge. Said she needed help. They sent her money, diapers, gift cards. People shared her post like it was gospel. Until someone recognized her name from one of the viral screenshots and cross-posted it with the comment, "Is this the same woman who faked a miscarriage with butcher meat?" Within hours, she was exposed. Again, multiple group admins banned her. 2 women posted screenshots of donation refunds with the caption, "Scammer alert. Don't fall for it." She tried to play victim again, but it didn't land this time. The sympathy was gone. All that was left was her own mess, and she was sinking in it. The courthouse smelled like old paper and bad cologne. I sat stiff on the bench outside the courtroom, suit jacket on, evidence folder in my lap, just waiting for them to call my name. My lawyer, Megan, mid-30s, sharp as hell, sat next to me, thumbing through the documents like she was looking forward to tearing someone apart. She didn't even glance up when Chelsea walked in. But I did. She made an entrance like she was starring in some courtroom drama. Waddled in wearing a bright blue maternity dress that was at least 2 sizes too big, hair done up like she was going to prom, crocodile tears already rolling. She clutched her stomach like the baby was going to pop out right there on the tile. Megan leaned over and whispered, "Here comes the performance." We got called in. The judge was an older woman, no-nonsense type. Didn't smile once. We all sat. Chelsea's lawyer, a guy who looked like he hadn't slept in a week, stood up first. "Your Honor, my client is a pregnant woman who has endured months of harassment, public shaming, and emotional abuse at the hands of the petitioner. She is here today seeking protection, not punishment." The judge looked over at me. "Do you have anything prepared in response?" Megan stood. "We do, Your Honor. And everything I'm about to submit is documented screenshots, time-stamped recordings, verified statements from multiple individuals including the respondent's own father." She handed the folder to the clerk, who passed it up to the bench. The judge flipped through it while Megan kept talking. "This is not a case of a vulnerable woman being harassed. This is a pattern of manipulation and dishonesty with the intent of forcing my client into emotional, financial, and social obligations tied to a child that, by the respondent's own admission, is not biologically his." Chelsea wiped her face with a tissue. Loudly, the judge looked straight at her. "Ms. Franklin, is the petitioner the biological father of your child?" Chelsea hesitated, sniffled hard, then muttered, "No, he's not." "Say that again for the record," the judge said, more firm. Chelsea raised her voice, trembling now. "No, he's not." "Thank you," the judge said, jotting something down. Chelsea's lawyer tried to pivot. "Even so, Your Honor, he's contributed to the emotional distress." The judge cut him off. "Enough. I've seen enough." She looked at me, then at Megan. "Based on the evidence provided, the pattern of contact, the messages, and Ms. Franklin's own admission, I'm granting the restraining order for 2 years. Full protection. No direct or indirect contact. No third-party communication. That includes online harassment or attempts to contact family." Chelsea's head dropped like someone unplugged her. The judge gave her one more glance. "Ms. Franklin, I suggest you focus on your pregnancy and get your life in order." She banged the gavel once. "We're done here." Megan leaned back in her chair, satisfied. I didn't say a word. I didn't have to. As we walked out, I caught one last glimpse of Chelsea sitting there alone, still in that giant dress, hugging her purse like it was going to comfort her. I kept walking, didn't look back. I stepped out of the courthouse into the hot sun, loosened my collar, and finally breathed. But the peace didn't last. Dylan was leaning against a silver Toyota at the edge of the lot, holding a thick envelope and pacing like he'd rehearsed something in his head 100 times. Soon as he spotted Chelsea coming down the steps behind me, he walked straight toward her. "Chelsea," he called, holding up the envelope. "We need to talk." She stopped halfway down the steps. "Now? Seriously? This is for both of us," he said. "It's a release form. If you sign, I won't be held legally responsible for child support. You said you didn't want anything from me, so this just makes it official." She froze, then laughed like he'd just told a joke. "You're kidding." "No," Dylan said. "I'm not doing this anymore. You lied to everyone, including me. This baby doesn't mean I owe you a damn thing." Chelsea's face changed instantly. She went from fake calm to full nuclear in half a second. "You coward!" she screamed, smacking the envelope out of his hand. "You don't get to walk away." He bent down to grab the papers. She shoved him hard in the back as he stood up, then smacked his arm, then his face. "Get off me!" he shouted, backing up. That's when Marshall charged. He came out of nowhere from the parking lot, still in his courthouse suit, stomping toward Dylan with both fists clenched. "You got my daughter pregnant and now you're ducking out," he barked. "Back off," Dylan warned, but Marshall didn't. He shoved Dylan so hard he stumbled into the hood of a car. Chelsea's uncle Ronnie was right behind him, yelling, "Let's see how tough he is now." People started pulling out phones. I stood across the lot and watched it unfold like I was at a bad reality show taping. Dylan shoved Marshall back. Chelsea was screaming, swinging her purse at Dylan like it was a weapon. Ronnie went to grab Dylan's shirt. Then the cop sirens hit. 2 officers came running from the side of the building, shouting commands. "Hands where we can see 'em." It didn't matter. Marshall kept yelling. Chelsea wouldn't stop crying and flailing, and Ronnie got in the cop's face like a moron. Didn't take long. They zip-tied all 3 of them on the curb, right in front of the courthouse entrance. Chelsea, her dad, and her uncle, each one of them yelling a different excuse, acting like the victims. Someone sent me the video before I even got back to my car. A random bystander caught the whole meltdown from the courthouse steps. The title on the Facebook post read, "Pregnant woman and family arrested outside courthouse after child support blowup." Within an hour, it was everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. Same faces, same screaming, same headline, "That butcher meat girl strikes again." Chelsea's reputation didn't just take a hit. It crashed headfirst into a wall and exploded. And this time, I didn't even lift a finger. 3 weeks after the courthouse fiasco, I got an email from a hospital in Knoxville. Chelsea had given birth and listed me as the father. I almost laughed. Almost. But instead, I forwarded them the full restraining order, along with the court transcript where she admitted, under oath, the baby wasn't mine. 15 minutes later, the hospital called back and apologized. Apparently, Marshall had tried to argue with staff when they refused to process the birth certificate with my name on it. When they told him to leave, he lost it. Security had to escort him out. That was the last straw for his wife. 2 days later, Marshall moved into a motel and filed for divorce. Word spread fast. Some of the same people who defended Chelsea online were now saying her whole family was cursed. Dylan? He packed up and moved out of state. Nobody threw him a goodbye party. His ex-wife posted a selfie the day the divorce finalized with the caption, "Free and better than ever." She's dating some real estate guy now, owns his own cabin, hikes with her daughter every weekend. Good for her. As for me, life got quiet. I started dating Erin, a girl I'd see at my gym in the mornings. She wasn't dramatic. She didn't play games. She listened, laughed at dumb jokes, kept her life simple. We took things slow. Real slow. No red flags. No weird stories. No exes who don't understand me speeches. I got promoted at work, better hours, better pay. Moved into a cleaner place with more sunlight and zero Chelsea memories. Just me, Erin, and a stocked fridge. Of course, Chelsea still hasn't stopped running her mouth. Last I heard, she was telling people I abandoned her during pregnancy and left her with nothing. But no one's buying it. Not anymore. The screenshots are still floating around. The videos, the court records. People know what really happened. And even if they didn't, I wouldn't care, because now I sleep like a rock. I eat what I want. I laugh without checking my rearview mirror. And if there's one thing I learned from this whole mess, it's this: trust your instincts, protect yourself, and never let guilt override the facts.